So the purpose of this video is I just wanted to kind of give you some background on who I am. Who is this dude wearing leggings and Speedos and where did he come from? Well, I have a pretty interesting past and I was a totally different person before I joined the Army. And that's where we're going to kind of start is I had a near-death experience when I was deployed in 2015 to Kuwait and Iraq. If you remember, this was when ISIS was big and Obama was our president, and we were active in Iraq and Kuwait trying to root out ISIS and all those atrocities. So let's go back in time. So 2014, I just graduated U.S. Army Flight School on the UH-60 Blackhawk, that guy, and I was super pumped. I've always kind of wanted to fly. Um, in college, I didn't know if I was good enough, so I just kind of did my best and see what happens, right? And fortunately, I found myself graduated from Army Flight School. So I have just graduated, and I'm told when I get to my unit, which is a National Guard unit, and I get back, and they're like, "Hey, we're deploying, and you're gonna go." So I'm like, "All right." I'm nervous, but also excited because I really get to go do what I set out to do, is really just become a better pilot, really get into this Black Hawk Army aviation stuff. So fast forward a couple months, we're deployed in Kuwait. At this point, I'm really, really trying to get proficient at flying. I'm really, really trying to be a great Army officer. I'm a platoon leader of a maintenance platoon, so I get to do some maintenance test flights, but I'm still, months have gone by since flight school and I'm still not completely signed off. Now, my analogy is if you've ever got a driver's permit, it's kind of where I was. I had a driver's permit to fly, but I had to be with instructors for certain maneuvers. So I wasn't completely signed off and it was driving me nuts. And unfortunately, I just wasn't a big priority for the training staff when we were deployed. So I'm really pushing for every training flight I can possibly get. Well, finally, I've done all the training I can do. It's down to just one more task, which is terrain flight navigation, and I have to do that under goggles. Once that gets signed off for NVGs, I'm good to go. I'm a real boy, right? I'm finally signed off as a true Black Hawk pilot in the Army. So I'm super motivated. I get prepared, and I plan the flight, and we're getting ready to go. And this particular night was a red illume night. And what that means is like the moon wasn't there, right? We didn't have a moon. We're in Kuwait. It's very dusty this night. We just had a haboob go through. So the visibility is already not great. It's a moonless night. And even with night vision goggles, you still can't see a whole lot without residual light. It just amplifies light. So so we're getting ready to go. I'm motivated. I'm excited to go because I've been waiting months for this flight. I'm certainly not going to say I don't want to go. So we're flying along. We're going from point to point. Now in Kuwait, there's not a whole lot of terrain to actually navigate on. It's really kind of just entering into a green soup under goggles, and we have a GPS that's guiding us, and I'm giving the instructor I'm with different headings and distances to get us to this point because the goal is to arrive on target plus or minus 1 minute. That's just kind of the task standards that I was given. So I'm pilot monitoring, being not only graded and instructed, but trying to get signed off for this maneuver. And we're flying, everything's fine. And I noticed that a couple times the instructor I'm with, he's messing with the lights because there are certain ways to get the most out of your goggles, especially on a really dark night. So he's messing with the landing light. He's messing with some IR lights. He's messing with lighting in the cockpit. He's just, it's really, really dark. And he's just trying to get more out of the light that we do have. Good news is we're not in a combat environment in Kuwait. So it's perfect for training. So we can turn on certain lights, which is fine. So he's messing around with that. And I notice we're in a slight descent, and I catch him, as a good pilot monitoring. Hey, watch your altitude, right? And so no worries. I'm also being graded, right? So I'm really focused on making sure that we get there when we say we are to the right location. A few more minutes goes by, and then it happens. I'm deep in the GPS typing. This GPS is like a Nokia text pad. not the most user-friendly device. I call this the Reagan Hawk because it was built in the 80s and designed in the 70s. So great aircraft, but just not a great GPS. So I'm typing in, I'm looking down, fully concentrated on my job. And I hear from the back, this crew chief, he's like, climb, climb, climb. And I look up, and if you can notice on these Blackhawks, you see there's a chin bubble right here. I'll actually show you. So there's a chin bubble right here, and I'm sitting right here. And as I look through the chin bubble, I can see rushing dirt and shrubs. And at this point, we're going like 88 knots because our route was 100 feet, 100, give or take knots. Well, at this point, I look up, we're at about 3 feet, 80 knots. So we are seconds away from impacting the Earth at 88 knots with lots of spinning mechanical pieces. If there was a camel there, we would have hit it, and I wouldn't be here today. Fortunately, I look up, the instructor pilot on the controls looks up or figures out what's going on, and we pull out of this dive, this very slow, controlled descent that we had that neither of us caught. And we pull up out of it, and we're like, whoa, what just happened, right? So fast forward to the end of the flight. It doesn't get better. We finish the flight safely. We go debrief. Unfortunately, this instructor pilot decided to blame me for the near accident, said I wasn't prepared and I'm the reason why we almost impacted the ground. At that point, I didn't really care what he had to say. I was just trying to get away from this person and these people and really digest what had happened. I nearly just died, and now I'm being blamed for it. We all had no one's at fault for this. It happens. Controlled flight and terrain is just one of those scary things that pilots encounter in all types of flying, whether it's military or civilian. And unfortunately, that happened to us. And thank God our crew chief in the back said something, or we wouldn't be here today. I don't normally talk about this. I'm not trying to throw the instructor under the bus. I'm not trying to throw anyone under the bus. I just want to tell the story. So unfortunately, we weren't able to constructively talk about it in a way that I hoped any instructor would whenever we make mistakes. We move on. I'm pretty shook up over this, obviously. Fast forward a couple weeks, my girlfriend at the time, I think we've been dating 3 months, I find out she's seeing someone else and no longer really wants to be with me. So person I was most excited to come home for isn't there, isn't not even there to support me through what just happened, but just isn't going to be there when I come back. Also crushing. And I'm really kind of questioning where I'm at. Like, I worked so hard to do this, and I've never been so devastated in my life. And everything I thought I knew, whether it was my girlfriend, whether it was my career, really who I was in question because I literally just almost died. So this is where it's kind of the darkest before the dawn. And I make this weird commitment to myself that, you know what? I care way too much what people think. Whether it's the Army, whether it's my girlfriend, whether it's who I am as a person, I realized how important, especially as a man, I put this obligation to live up to some narrative of masculinity that all of us men who are watching this have been told since we're little. Don't cry, don't show weakness, don't be vulnerable, do things that are masculine. The worst offense for us as men is to be called less masculine, right? And the list goes on for that. That's a whole nother discussion, but it kind of just all started to come to me, and I'm just like, what am I doing? Like, what purpose did any of this serve? What can I take from this experience and be better for it? I became a better pilot, that's for sure. But I became a better person. I stood up for myself more. I got the courage to speak up when I flew with people who were doing something dangerous, because I've almost died, right? But not only from a flying aspect, but I learned to speak up for myself and really stand up for what I believe in and really stop doing things for other people And, when I got back from that deployment, obviously alone, I kind of felt like I had to start over. And things that I did, I learned how to dance. I went and did salsa. I met someone there and we dated a little bit and got really good at ballroom and salsa and became a country DJ. Took the dancing to country two-step, loved it, got really good at it. Um, Fast forward a couple years, that's how I met my wife doing country two-step. Continue through that. I actually got invited to teach ballroom at Arthur Murray because I started dancing. All the while, I was making moves towards flying airplanes because I realized the Army wasn't a good fit for me, wasn't a good fit for what I believed in. And what I tell people is the military, I got into the military and I left the military for the same reasons. I wanted to feel like I was a part of a team. I wanted to feel like I was doing good in this world. And I wanted to be around people who were going to make me better. And unfortunately, the Army consistently disappointed me in those ways. So I left and made this, career to be an airline pilot. So fast forward to now as a trainer with a company, I just want you to know that I also discovered fitness. I also discovered, late 20s, early 30s, how hard it is to be in shape and be a professional, especially flying all the time and traveling. You know, you don't have to be a traveler, but you start having kids, we start adulting, as us millennials say, and your health and fitness just takes a back seat. And if you've never had the fundamentals or the training on how to maintain a healthy amount of body fat or maintain muscle or even why you should, you're kind of just giving control to your life rather than taking control of your life. And so why this is so important is I started this company to help people. I wanted to help people not only with their health and fitness. There's plenty of people who want to do that, who are great at that job. There are other trainers, there are other companies, there are other things that you can do to help your health and fitness. But I wanted to come at it from my angle. It's not about you losing belly fat. It's not about you building muscle or feeling confident. Of course, all of those things matter. But where I'm coming about this is about making the best version of yourself, being intentional with what you do. Health and fitness is a part of it, and it's a great, proving ground to work with my clients to say, why are we doing this? Because if you're just doing this for beach season, that season's going to end, and then what? So me and my team, we come at it from this really holistic aspect of why are we even working out? Why are we concerned about how we look? And more importantly, who are we doing this for? And it should be for you because I did it for me and I'm just so much happier now. Um, I love my body. I don't have a problem wearing leggings or a Speedo at the beach because I no longer care about what people think about me. I no longer care if people think I'm less manly for it. I no longer care what people think. Really, it's like it's such a freeing feeling, and I just want to give people that confidence and that self assuredness that I've found without having to kill themselves flying in the military. That's ultimately what my dream is with this company is I want to help people find the freedom they deserve to be themselves and then build on that and become better in their own way, in a way that serves them every single day, the way that I've found a way to serve myself and become better for me. It's how I met my wife. It's how all the best things in my life have happened is once I stopped giving other people control over who I was, things just got better. And so I just want to help my clients do that. And that's my near-death experience. And I'm trying to I've benefited myself from it, but now I'm trying to benefit you, whoever's watching this to the end. I want to benefit you. I want to take the lessons that I've learned from this near-death experience and give them to you without the cost of going through it yourself. So I hope you enjoyed my story. And if this resonated with you, reach out to me. I'd love to hear your story.